often have you thought someone's life could be better if they would just blank, or if they broke up with someone, or if they would only start blank? Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Kira Wackett. Thanks for joining me for another video as we work to empower and equip you with the confidence and skills to write your own story so that you can live a life on purpose. In today's episode, we're talking about that drive to fix, control, and rescue the people around us, including where that comes from and why it isn't helping you or them. We do this all the time. Years ago, I was an inexperienced college student operating under the assumption that medical mission trips, or trips where a bunch of pre-med or pre-health college students go to another country to help the community and provide medical aid, were a positive thing. We were bringing resources to people who were lacking. We were providing education and medical care in the communities. How in the world could that possibly be a bad thing? The issue is that it's not all bad, so we can easily talk ourselves into it being all good. Sure, bringing supplies and resources to communities is not inherently bad. Providing aid to communities in need is not at baseline problematic. But the issue, at its root, is about intention and role. It's about the position you put yourself in and the manner in which you see and connect with the community. What's my intention in doing this work? What's my role in doing it? And am I acting as a part of the community I'm serving or taking over and controlling that community? The trips themselves are rooted in an inherent sense of privilege and act as a basis to appease our egos and build up our confidence. Look how good I am, or you should let me into medical school because look, I did this thing. They also operate under the assumption that we, the people coming into the broken or impoverished, resource-barren community, are the healers, fixers, and saviors. But we're not. Again, go back to those reflection questions. By making myself the healer or the fixer, I'm putting myself above the community. I'm assuming that I know better or I have all the answers. I'm helping these people and the community be better. Again, there's a gray area here because I strongly believe bringing resources and support into communities is important. Connection, collaboration, and resource sharing is key to bring the whole world online and get everybody what they deserve. But if we go back to the intention question about why am I doing this and how am I acting as a part of the community, it's not uncommon for people to go down, spend 2 weeks in a community, helping, and then leave. There were some temporary band-aids, in my case, literally and figuratively, put in place, and then we disappeared, which in many ways is worse than if we hadn't come at all, because we're creating a system of disconnect between the community and the visitors. If you follow that teach a man to fish philosophy, we're simply bringing in a bunch of fish and then leaving. Rather than creating a consistent support presence to help empower and support a community to build an infrastructure and develop skills to support itself on its own. Or better yet, understanding that culture, community, and current systems and how they're working towards their goals and ideals is something that we can support. We're operating under the assumption that the community would be better with our help. Now again, great area, but consider this. Whose beliefs am I imposing when I come in and teach people how to live a better life? How often is there a dialogue about what a community needs and believes, or the upstream concerns that may contribute to the issues that they're facing? But even if the community would be better, we're not investing in the community. What happens when we leave? We're not the ones who have to live their lives. We're not the ones who have to face all of this compounding forces that make implementing and maintaining any systemic change even more difficult. We're not the ones that have to live in that community's shame, fear, isolation, and the pressures and oppressive forces that exist within it. So in many ways, we create systems where we're seen as the saviors, coming in and helping people escape or treat their misery or get them some reprieve. We provide temporary band-aids for a self-proclaimed broken system. It works like a high from a drug, a short burst that fades fast and can create a greater sense of hollowness and dependence after we're gone. It further takes away from the community's self-reliance and efficacy. They must be broken. They must need these people to come in and save them. They must be suffering. So, why am I talking about mission trips at such a length when our focus is to talk about how we want to change the way we show up in our relationships? Because on a more direct and obvious pattern, I hope you rethink the role of support and aid in the way we help communities, people, and countries in need at a general level. Building more systems of dependence only further separates out this us and them mentality, with continuing to see people as less or in need of fixing, which is categorically BS. But the second thing is to consider all the ideas in this in the small ways that you might be forcing your own mission onto the lives of others. How often have you thought someone's life could be better if they would just do blank, or broke up with someone, or if they started to do something else? We do this all the time. We find something that works for us or have decided that we've figured it out. We develop a belief about what's right or what happy and success looks like, and we can impose that onto other people. I do this to my mom all the time. And if I'm being honest, I'm still existing in the gray areas of it again, because I can make a case that some of it is good. So like we said in the beginning, it's easy to assume it's all good. See, she needs to move her body. It's probably not good to be eating foods that are shelf-stable for 10 years rather than fresh, nutrient-dense foods. She's got mental health issues, so she's got to get up and move and get out of her house every day, even if it's just to take a few deep breaths outside. I do stand by these things as being important. But where the gray area exists is, it is her life. She knows these things to be true, and there is something that gets in the way of doing them. Sure, providing some skills and tools might be helpful. Giving information and sharing ideas can be empowering. But I can't make her live a life she's not going to live. And if I just keep coming in, trying to fix her life and make her live the life I want her to, I'm only further creating a narrative that she's broken or less than me. I'm establishing a baseline of resentment for me in the relationships for when she doesn't do the things. And I don't open space for her to be vulnerable and talk about what she needs rather than what I assume she needs. I also have to check in with the fact that I don't have to live her life. She does, which means I don't have to be okay with it. She does. And if she isn't, she has to be an active participant in making a change. She has the right and responsibility to ask for support rather than me simply imposing it because I can or believe I should. I have to treat her as the leader of her life, the same as we have to think about the communities we're seeing through mission trips and aid packages as the leaders of their own. The hard part in doing this is facing our own ego. We want to fix it because it makes us feel good. We want to help everyone else live what we've found to be the best or ideal, or at least better than the alternative. But you have to meet people where they're at and realize that what we choose to do in our lives or what we find joy and fulfillment in may be different from others. And even if it isn't, we can't work harder for or take on a responsibility for anyone else's happiness or health that sets them up to be seen as helpless, less than, or dependent on us. My mom is not less than me because she struggles with getting her body to move or has a hard time working through her shame. She is not less than because she likes eating foods that I choose not to eat. She is not helpless or broken. She is making choices that are different from mine. And if at the root of that, there are things I've learned or experienced that I want to share, then absolutely I can share them. But go back to the intention questions from earlier. Why am I sharing them? If it's to equip her with the same knowledge and skills so that she can make her own choice or decide how to live her life with more opportunity, that's different from telling her to convince her of something because I believe it's what's best for her. I want you to consider how you might be doing this with others. How might you be taking responsibility for people's lives that isn't only outside of your scope and role, but maybe creating misery in you and them? What do you have to let go of in order to give people the space to live their own lives? And instead of trying to get everyone closer to your modus operandi, perhaps we need to check in with ourselves, our shame, discomfort, sense of self, and work on grieving the fact that others will live different lives than us and make choices we don't agree with that may actively contribute to a lower quality of life, poor health, etc. We cannot control that. We have to grieve that these choices and lifestyle differences may also impact the relationship we have with others, and that's okay. We have to face our fears that people we love may be actively making choices that hurt or harm them. And we have to accept that support is not the same as control. And then we don't have control over the lives they lead, only the choice on how and in what ways we can or cannot support them. So now it's your turn. What's one thing that you can let go of trying to control for others? Now, as you all know, writing things down and sharing them out loud is one of the best ways to increase our buy-in and reinforce this work, so put it down in the comments. Let it be there. Relinquish it, let it go, put it there, and let's talk about it. As always, I'm gonna have lots of resources for you in the video notes, so be sure to check that out so that you can go deeper on this topic and other ones that are like this to really consider role, responsibility, and connection. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to subscribe to save yourself the time and energy of having to check back for content and get an alert whenever there's new awesomeness to check out. And if you do want to stay in the know on all of the happenings of Adversity Rising, click the link in the show notes to sign up for my email list. I send out exclusive content every 2 weeks that you cannot get anywhere else, as well as put all the updates to new content that's been released in YouTube or on my blog or anything else that I've done so that you have one place that you can go and get that. Thanks for being here with me today. I'm so excited for all of you to dive deeper into this space for self-reflection and honesty. It's not easy. And it's necessary to begin to dismantle these systems of shame that have left all of us chasing what's already ours, the right to author our own story. So let's stop imposing ourselves on everyone else, give them the pen back for theirs, and let's focus on getting yours and writing the story that you want to live. See you next video.